Most people believe they are simply describing their life when they say things like, "I am tired, I am broke, I am unlucky in love." They think they are reporting facts, as if their words are neutral commentary on reality. But here's the truth. They are not reporting. They are programming. In the quantum field, words are not empty vibrations that vanish in the air. Words are frequency codes. Every statement you speak carries intention, identity, and resonance. And of all the phrases you could ever say, nothing carries more power than the two words, "I am." Why? Because everything that follows becomes a declaration of self. In the language of the universe, self and reality are not separate. The field does not respond to your wishes, your complaints, or your hopes. It responds to your identity, to what you consistently declare yourself to be. For centuries, mystics and spiritual teachers have emphasized this truth. From ancient scriptures to modern quantum thinkers, the message is the same. I am is the key to creation. Even in the Bible, when Moses asked the divine for its name, the answer was simple: I am that I am. This was not poetry. It was a revelation about the very structure of existence, that reality itself is formed through self-definition. In quantum physics, this aligns perfectly with the observer effect. What you identify as, you collapse into form. Every repeated thought, every self-description, is an act of observation, and observation alone is enough to alter reality at the subatomic level. The trap, however, is that most people use I am unconsciously, and they use it against themselves. They attach I am to temporary states and accidentally lock them in as permanent identities. I am tired becomes, I am a tired person. I am bad with money becomes, I am someone who never has enough. Without realizing it, they tune their lives to static frequencies and then wonder why the music never changes. This is not because the universe is punishing them. It is because the universe is obedient. The quantum field is like an infinite mirror. It reflects back whatever vibration you project. And this is where your shift begins. The moment you realize that every I am is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. Most people spend their lives saying, I want more money. I hope I find love. I wish my life would change. But in the quantum field, want, hope, and wish are weak signals. They point to absence. The field does not move because you want something. It moves when you are something. That's what makes I am different. These two words don't just describe, they define. They are not pointing to desire. They are declaring identity. And in the quantum field, identity collapses possibility into reality faster than any wish ever could. Think of it like a GPS. You can type in the most beautiful destination, wealth, love, peace, success. But the GPS won't start moving until you confirm your current location. I am is that location. If your I am says, I am broke, I am unlucky, I am stuck, then no matter what destination you choose, you remain locked at those coordinates. But the moment your I am shifts, the entire system recalibrates. This is why I am has been called the divine name of creation across traditions. In ancient texts, it was the voice of God. In neuroscience, it is called identity-based change. In quantum mechanics, it is observation creating form. Different languages, one truth. What you claim as self, you claim as reality. Here's the danger. Most people don't notice what follows their I am. They attach it to temporary moods, tired, stressed, unlucky, and unknowingly turn them into lifelong scripts. But the real power of I am is its neutrality. It has no agenda. It is an open command line. You are the one typing in the code. So ask yourself, are you broadcasting a signal of wanting or of being? The difference is everything. I want abundance keeps abundance away. I am abundance draws it in. The field doesn't respond to the strength of your wish. It responds to the clarity of your identity. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. Whatever you do, the reflection follows without hesitation. If you smile, it smiles back. If you frown, it frowns instantly. The mirror doesn't argue, it doesn't edit, it doesn't decide what's good for you. It simply reflects. The quantum field works in exactly the same way. It is the infinite mirror of consciousness. It does not filter through morality, fairness, or preference. It reflects your vibration exactly as you broadcast it. If you project, life is a struggle, The mirror shows you more struggle. If you project life as a gift, the mirror delivers experiences that confirm that truth. This is why so many people feel stuck. They believe the universe is punishing them, when in reality the field is only reflecting their most dominant signal. Just as a mirror cannot return a smile if you are scowling, the field cannot reflect abundance when you are broadcasting scarcity. Here is the shift. Once you understand that the field is a mirror, you stop begging it to change, and you start changing the image you present. You realize that reality is not against you. It is obedient to you. Science confirms this principle. In quantum mechanics, particles respond to observation. They don't decide on their own what to become. They take their cue from the observer. In neuroscience, your brain filters reality through confirmation bias. It constantly looks for proof of what you already believe. Spiritually, mystics taught that the outer world is the shadow of the inner world. Different languages, same truth. Reality reflects identity. The danger is in forgetting that the mirror has no delay. Every moment you declare, "I am," the reflection begins to shift. Sometimes you expect instant external change, but just like a foggy mirror, it takes time for the image to become clear. If you persist, the reflection cannot resist. So pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what image are you presenting to the quantum mirror? Is it the tired, limited version of you, or the abundant, powerful version you're ready to embody? Because the mirror is always faithful. It will not argue. It will only return exactly what you project. There comes a moment in every journey of transformation when you stop chasing proof and start embodying truth. That moment is the entrance to the God state. The God state is not about arrogance, superiority, or ego. It is about coherence, a deep alignment between your inner identity and the reality you choose to live. It is the state where there is no longer a gap between thought, feeling, and manifestation. You are no longer waiting for abundance, health, or love to arrive. You are living as if it is already here, and the field has no choice but to respond. Neuroscience calls this self-directed neuroplasticity. When you consistently embody the version of yourself you desire to become, your brain begins to rewire itself to support that identity. Old neural pathways weaken and new ones strengthen. Your very biology starts to reflect your chosen state. Quantum physics calls this resonance. Just as two tuning forks vibrate together when one is struck, your frequency begins to resonate with the reality that matches it. No pushing, no forcing, no begging. Only natural synchronization. Spiritually, this is the state that mystics described when they spoke of union with the divine. Not worshiping a distant power, but embodying it. Not asking for permission, but realizing that the creative essence of the universe is already flowing through you. The awakening of the God state begins the moment you stop using "I am" to describe your wounds and start using it to declare your chosen essence. Instead of saying, "I am trying to heal," you say, "I am whole." Instead of saying, "I am working toward abundance," you say, "I am abundant now." At first, your rational mind may resist. It may whisper, "This is not true, you are pretending." But in quantum creation, you are not pretending, you are leading. You are guiding your body, your mind, and your field into coherence with a higher frequency. And once coherence is established, reality cannot resist. The God state is not a philosophy to think about, it is a frequency to live from. The question is no longer, will it happen? The question is, am I aligned enough to let it? Every action you take, every habit you build, every result you create is running on a deeper operating system, your identity. If actions are the programs, then identity is the motherboard. Without rewriting the motherboard, every new program eventually runs the same old way. This is why so many people get stuck in cycles of self-improvement. They change habits for a few weeks, follow a new routine, or try a new strategy. But if their core identity remains untouched, the results fade. The system always reverts back to its dominant code, who they believe they are. Neuroscience confirms this through the concept of identity-based neuroplasticity. When you repeat thoughts and feelings that align with a future version of yourself, your brain begins to wire new pathways as if that future is happening now. You literally reprogram your nervous system to support the self you are becoming. Epigenetics tells us the same story in the body. As Dr. Bruce Lipton explains, Your beliefs and perceptions influence the expression of your genes. They are like switches that turn genetic codes on or off. In other words, the identity you embody through thought and feeling directly shapes your biology. You are not only programming your mind, you are sculpting your cells. Quantum physics mirrors this truth in its own language. David Bohm spoke of the implicate order, the unseen blueprint from which reality unfolds. Your identity functions as that blueprint. The self you consistently declare and embody determines the reality that unfolds before your eyes. Here lies the paradox. Most people keep trying to change their external life without ever touching the root code. They paint over the surface of reality, but the blueprint remains the same. They chase new opportunities with the same old I am and wonder why the results repeat. The science is clear. Lasting change is not behavior-based, it is identity-based. The quantum field, your brain, and even your DNA all align to reflect the self you choose to embody. So the real question is not, what do I want, but who am I becoming? Because when you shift identity, reality has no choice but to shift with it. Most people build their identity from memory. They look at the story of their past, the mistakes, the struggles, the disappointments, and use those echoes to decide who they are today. They say things like, I am always unlucky in relationships, or I am bad with money, as if the past were a prophecy. But the past is not a prophecy. It is data. It is the residue of old thoughts, old emotions, and old frequencies. When you define yourself only by what has already happened, you are recycling an outdated signal into the present moment. And because the quantum field reflects your current broadcast, it has no choice but to keep delivering more of the same. The shift into conscious creation happens when you stop reporting the past and start declaring the future, not as a wish, but as a fact. Instead of saying, I am trying to heal, you say, I am whole now. Instead of, I am working toward success, you say, I am successful now. This is not denial, it is direction. Just as a compass points north whether or not you are there yet, your declarations point your energy toward the reality you are choosing. The field does not wait for external proof before it responds. It responds to the vibration of identity that you embody in the present. Neuroscience shows us that when you vividly imagine a future self and feel it in your body, the brain cannot distinguish between memory and vision. It wires new pathways as if that future were already real. Spiritual traditions echo this truth. Faith is not waiting for evidence, but walking as if the promise is fulfilled. The danger is that your rational mind will resist. It will whisper, but look at the facts. Look at the bank account. Look at the pain. Yet these are only reflections of old states of being. They are not who you are becoming. The moment you anchor your identity in the future you choose, you collapse that version of reality into the present. You stop dragging the chains of memory and start scripting destiny. You are not defined by where you have been. You are defined by the frequency you choose right now. Your body is not just flesh and bone. It is a living antenna, constantly broadcasting signals into the field. Every heartbeat, every breath, every subtle change in your nervous system carries information. And the quantum field is always listening. This is why affirmations spoken without feeling often fall flat. You can say, I am abundant 100 times, but if your chest is tight with fear and your stomach knots with doubt, your body is sending a mixed signal. The field does not respond to words alone. It responds to coherence. Coherence happens when thought, emotion, and physiology move in harmony. When your mind declares abundance, your emotions feel safe in that abundance, and your body relaxes into the signal. In that state, your transmission becomes powerful, clear, and undeniable. Science supports this. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that the electromagnetic field of the heart is thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. When your thoughts and emotions align, your heart and brain synchronize, creating a wave of coherence that expands far beyond your body. In that moment, you are not just thinking abundance, you are radiating it. This is why practices that engage the body are essential. Breathwork, meditation, movement, and stillness are not luxuries. They are tools to tune the antenna. When you slow your breathing and calm your heart rate while declaring your chosen identity, you are teaching your body that it is safe to receive what you desire. Safety is the gateway to embodiment. The challenge is that many people have trained their bodies to live in survival. Stress becomes their baseline. Even when they speak positive words, their nervous system is still broadcasting fear. Until the body is retrained, the signal remains incoherent. But once the body learns to trust the new frequency, the game changes. The affirmation stops being just language. It becomes biology. It becomes vibration. It becomes your broadcast. So ask yourself, what is your body radiating right now? Because every cell, every breath, every beat of your heart is part of the signal you are sending into the quantum field. Align the body, and you align the broadcast. Every great transformation meets resistance, not from the universe, but from within. Doubt is the mind's final defense against change. It whispers, what if this doesn't work? What if nothing changes? What if you're just fooling yourself? This inner resistance often appears right when you are closest to the breakthrough. It is not proof that you are failing. It is evidence that you are destabilizing an old identity. The nervous system, conditioned by years of limitation, trembles as the old self begins to collapse. But here's the paradox. The very presence of doubt is confirmation that a new frequency is forming. Doubt is the static before a new station comes through. The field is already responding, but your old self struggles to hold on to the familiar signal. In quantum terms, this is the wobble before collapse. Just as particles fluctuate before locking into a state, your identity oscillates between the old and the new. If you surrender to doubt, you reinforce the past. If you hold steady, the new reality crystallizes. The key is not to fight doubt, but to recognize it as a signpost. You are on the edge of shift. Instead of resisting, breathe through it. Anchor yourself in the declaration that defines your chosen identity. Every time you affirm, I am in my God state, you stabilize the frequency. And here's where I invite you to act now. If this message is resonating with you, declare it publicly. Write in the comments, I am in my God state. When you do, you're not only engaging with this video, you're sending a signal into the field. You're anchoring your new self with every keystroke. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Why? Because each video we share is another activation, another reminder designed to help you hold the frequency when doubt tries to pull you back. Staying connected keeps you aligned. Doubt is not your enemy. It is the last shadow before the light breaks through. When you recognize it for what it is, you no longer fear it. You see it as the proof that the collapse is already happening and that your new reality is on its way. The true test of transformation is not the glimpse of a higher state. It is your ability to remain there. Many people touch the vibration of alignment for a moment, in meditation or inspiration, but then return to old patterns as soon as life confronts them. Living in the God state means refusing to treat coherence as a temporary high. It becomes your permanent residence, the ground you stand on in every moment. To live in the God state is to stop oscillating between two identities. It is to stop being the person who is sometimes aligned and sometimes not. Instead, you stabilize as the self that already embodies wholeness, abundance, and clarity. This is not about perfection. It is about constancy. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you keep turning the dial back and forth between two stations, you only hear static. But the moment you commit to one station, the signal becomes clear and consistent. The God state is that clear station. Once you tune into it and stop switching back to the noise of fear, scarcity, or doubt, the music of your chosen reality begins to play without interruption. Science supports this principle. In neuroscience, repetition and consistency are what lock in new neural pathways. The brain learns through reinforcement. The more often you act and feel from your chosen identity, the stronger the circuits become until they are your default. In physics, resonance deepens with sustained vibration. A struck tuning fork doesn't just sound for a moment. It hums steadily until another frequency interrupts it. Spiritually, traditions across the world speak of abiding in faith, walking in presence, or resting in divine alignment. The message is universal. Stability creates embodiment. But how do you actually live from the God state day to day? It begins with micro decisions. Every time you pause before reacting, you are choosing whether to broadcast the old frequency or the new. When someone criticizes you, do you collapse back into, I am unworthy, or do you hold steady in, I am sovereign? When money feels tight, do you shrink into, I am broke, or expand into, I am abundant now. Each moment is a fork in the road. Living in the God state means choosing alignment again and again until it becomes effortless. Embodiment practices strengthen this stability. Breathwork calms the nervous system so the body feels safe in abundance. Meditation trains the mind to return to presence instead of wandering into fear. Gratitude rewires perception to look for evidence of alignment instead of proof of lack. These are not just rituals, they are daily reinforcements of the frequency you choose. Another key is environment. Just as a seed grows differently depending on the soil, your identity is shaped by the people, spaces, and information you surround yourself with. If you immerse yourself in scarcity conversations, you will feel pulled back into old patterns. But if you align with environments and communities that echo your chosen frequency, the God state becomes easier to sustain. The field amplifies coherence when multiple people vibrate in resonance. Living in the God state also means releasing the obsession with proof. Proof is always the last thing to arrive. If you demand external confirmation before you stabilize internally, you collapse back into waiting. But if you stabilize first, reality has no choice but to mirror your alignment. Patience becomes a form of power, the knowing that the reflection must appear when the signal is unwavering. The deeper you embody the God state, the more life itself reorganizes around you. Opportunities begin to emerge without force. Relationships shift into harmony or fall away if they no longer resonate. Synchronicities become so common that they feel ordinary, not because they are small, but because they are natural to the frequency you now live in. And here's the paradoxical beauty. Once the God state becomes your baseline, you no longer chase manifestation as an event. You recognize manifestation as a constant. Every breath, every step, every thought is creation. The question stops being, will it work, and becomes, which reality am I choosing to embody today? In this state, you no longer wait for abundance, love, or peace to arrive from outside. You radiate them from within. And because the field mirrors your essence, the outer world adjusts accordingly. This is the secret of effortless manifestation. It is not about forcing outcomes, but about stabilizing identity. Living in the God state is not fragile. It is not a flickering candle you must protect. It is the flame itself, steady and unshaken. Challenges may come, but instead of pulling you out of alignment, they become opportunities to anchor deeper. Resistance no longer feels like a threat, but like training for your frequency. Every obstacle becomes another chance to prove to yourself, I am who I declare I am. So pause and breathe. Feel into your body right now. Ask yourself, what would it mean if this state was not temporary, but permanent? What would your life look like if you stopped visiting coherence and decided to live there? That is the invitation of the God state, not to glimpse it, but to embody it every moment, until it becomes the only reality you know. There is a moment in the journey of awakening where something irreversible happens. It is subtle, yet undeniable. You realize you are no longer waiting for life to give you signs. You are no longer asking the universe for permission. Instead, you begin to see yourself as the source, the author, the architect. This is the moment you step into the creator self. The creator self is not a concept to study. It is not a belief system you try to convince yourself of. It is an identity shift, the recognition that the quantum field has never been outside of you. It has always been reflecting you. And now, you choose to embody that reflection consciously. Most people live as unconscious creators. They speak words without awareness, radiate fear without noticing, and walk through life as if reality were something happening to them. They are still creators, but they are creating blindly. Their reality becomes a patchwork of old wounds, inherited beliefs, and unexamined thoughts. The creator self is different. It is not blind. It is deliberate. It knows that every thought is a brushstroke, every emotion is a frequency, every word is a command. And because it knows this, it chooses carefully. It writes reality on purpose. Think of it this way. An unconscious creator is like a musician playing without realizing the instrument is on. Every sound echoes into the hall whether they mean to or not. The creator self, on the other hand, knows the strings are alive. They tune them, pluck them with intention, and compose music instead of noise. This is why the creator self does not chase proof. Proof belongs to the seeker. The seeker waits for the mirror to change before changing their expression. The creator knows that the mirror is obedient, not autonomous. You smile, the reflection smiles. You frown, the reflection frowns. The creator self understands this and lives accordingly. But stepping into this state requires a new relationship with time. The seeker lives in delay. When I have proof, then I will believe. The creator collapses delay. Because I believe, proof will come. One identity is trapped in waiting. The other walks as if the future is already here. And the quantum field, loyal to coherence, responds accordingly. Neuroscience confirms this through the phenomenon of neuroplasticity. The brain does not care whether an experience is real or vividly imagined. It wires pathways either way. When you embody the creator self, you are not fantasizing. You are physically rewiring your brain to recognize a new version of you. Epigenetics echoes the same truth in the body. Your beliefs and emotions switch genes on or off. Stress suppresses healing. Confidence activates it. When you live as the creator self, you are not only shaping your outer reality, you are literally sculpting your biology. And here's the liberating part. The creator self is not fragile. Once you taste it, the awareness cannot be erased. You may forget for a moment, but forgetting is not the same as losing. The ember of remembrance always glows, ready to ignite again. Living as the creator self does not mean life becomes free of challenges. What changes is your relationship with them. As a seeker, you see challenges as proof that you are failing. As a creator, you see them as raw material. Every obstacle is clay in your hands, waiting to be molded into form. Every difficulty is energy you can redirect into alignment. Nothing is wasted. This is why the creator self is steady. It does not collapse at the first sign of resistance. It does not beg the field for reassurance. It stands, it breathes, it remembers. I am the one who writes. I am the one who declares. I am the one who chooses. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would change in your life if you stopped waiting for reality to confirm your worth? What would shift if you walked into every day as if the field had already said yes to you? Because the truth is, it has. The only question is whether you will answer back. The creator self also recognizes the power of coherence in community. Just as one tuning fork can make another vibrate, when multiple people align in the same frequency, the field amplifies. This is why collective intention experiments show measurable effects. Alone, you are powerful. Together, coherence multiplies. When you embody the creator self, you contribute to a larger field of alignment that elevates everyone connected to you. And yet, this is not about perfection. The creator self does not punish itself for slipping into doubt. It simply returns, again and again. Every moment is a new chance to embody the frequency. Every breath is another opportunity to choose. This is not about never wavering. It is about refusing to abandon the truth of who you are, no matter how loud the noise of circumstances may seem. You may wonder, but what if my reality still looks the same? Understand this. What you see today is not evidence of who you are now. It is the echo of who you were. Reality lags behind vibration. The creator self knows this and does not panic when the reflection takes time to shift. It continues to embody alignment until the mirror catches up. This is the patience of mastery, the knowing that the field has no choice but to mirror coherence. Just as an echo cannot resist the sound that created it, reality cannot resist the vibration you sustain. Living as the creator self means treating every moment as sacred. Every conversation is an act of creation. Every choice is a frequency broadcast. Every declaration of I am is a seed planted in the field. The question is never, will it work? The question is always, what am I planting right now? And so, as this journey closes, I want to leave you with a reminder. You are not here by accident. This message is not random. The quantum field led you here to remind you of what you already know deep inside, that you are the creator self. Take a breath. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the truth vibrating within you. Then declare it out loud. I am in my God state. And before you go, don't just keep this in your mind. Anchor it. Write it in the comments. I am in my God state. Let that be your seal, your declaration, your broadcast. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and stay connected. Because this is not the end. It is only the beginning of living fully as the Creator self. From this moment forward, the universe no longer has to wonder who you are, and neither do you.